Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Me First Mornings. I am your host, Patricia Rivera Wolfson. I'm an intuitive coach and an energy healer, a wife and a mom to three boys. And my mission is to teach you how to, number one, calibrate your energy. Number two, how to integrate self care into easy, doable steps. And number three, how to embrace your own natural gifts to achieve a life you love. Because that's what you're here for. You're here to love life. Now, you're not going to love everything about life, but it's our job to calibrate our energy in order to be able to kind of connect with the things we love, to be in the frequency of the things we love. And if you were watching the show yesterday and you heard my elevator analogy, it's so that we can press the right button on the elevator and open the door to the floor that has everything we want. But unless we push that button, unless we go in the elevator and sort of move to where we want, we're just seeing what's available at that floor that we're at. And if we don't like it, we got to get back in the elevator and move spots. Okay. So watch yesterday's show if you want to learn about that analogy. Today, I will be talking about another analogy that I really like to use, and it is actually something I call the Google Brain Principle. And so you could probably figure out what it is, but we are going to talk about that on the show a little bit later. In the meantime, please, if you have not subscribed to the Jumpstart for Change on YouTube yet, please go to YouTube right now, type in Jumpstart for Change, look for my beautiful face, and subscribe to my channel. Now, on that note, actually, I want to share that today I got a notification that I received 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I finally did it. Because once I get 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel, then I can change my YouTube name to be whatever I want, right? It can be youtube.com/whatever. Right now, it's like XY5V or whatever, right? So I was like, oh, yay. I was like, I only had like 20 something subscribers. How did I get to 100? And so I went to go check. It was my other YouTube channel. So I don't know if you guys are choosing the wrong YouTube channel. I'm just kidding. I don't think it's your fault at all. I think it was just kind of a fluke that my other YouTube channel, that of course I've paid no attention to at all, reached the numbers of subscribers that I needed. And the one that I'm working with does not have the rights, I shouldn't say the right subscribers, does not have the subscribers that I needed in order to change my channel. So if you are a subscriber to my other channel, please go back into YouTube, go to Jumpstart for Change and subscribe there. That would be awesome. Good morning, Clarinha. Bon ano novo. Oh, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Okay. So we are going to start our day with our usual startup. But just as a reminder, of course, if you guys have not yet had an opportunity to download your free GPS workbook, and that will help you decipher what your foundational word is, your foundational feeling. A lot of people do that at the beginning of the year, so I'm highly encouraging you to do it now, but you can do it at any time. You can do it in the middle of the year. You can do it in the middle of a month. You can even do it in the middle of the blah, blah, blah. You can even do it in the middle of any day and change your mind. It doesn't always have to be the same, but it is helpful to go through the workbook so that you can kind of see, hey, once you start answering the questions, you may think your word is freedom or abundance, but your word may be safety. Your word may be security. Your word may be peace, whatever it is that your word is, whatever it is, that feeling that you want to capture most, that you want to embody in your life. The GPS workbook will help you figure that out. And you are welcome to do it on your own. You don't need me. Or you can reach out to me. We'll do a private session and I will help you figure it out. We'll go through the questions together and I will reflect back to you the answers in such a way that, we'll work something out and see where you're at. It's something I'm kind of good at, just to say, not to toot my own horn, but it's also super fun for me and for you. Hi, Linda. Welcome. All right, so let's do our morning ritual. And we're going to start there. And then we're going to talk about the Google brain because it's one of my favorite analogies. I use it with my children. This is something that you can easily talk to your own kids about. And it helps understand, why your thoughts are important and how to curate them a little bit without the guilt and the shame. Okay. So we'll get there. Right now, let's begin our routine. So please grab your candles if you have. Guys, I don't have my lighter here. How do I not have a lighter? That is crazy. I must have moved it. Hold on. Nope. See, that's why I can't move things, because the second I take something out of its place. Okay, so it looks like we're not gonna, I'm gonna pretend. Look. Ooh, beautiful lit candle. Burning nicely. Thank you. I don't know what that was. Okay, so I can't light the candle, and I'm out of essential oils. It is a sad, sacred morning for us today. All right, I have more essential oils. I'm never out of essential oils. I'm just out of my favorite. All right, and I say this to you guys probably every time I pull out that essential oil. I'm like, oh yeah, I need it, but I only have it here at my desk. So I only remember when I'm at my desk. Okay, this one's good. I'm using Arise, which is from the doTERRA yoga line. That one's pretty good too. Okay. And this is to awaken and arise and welcome the day and to energize you. Okay, you don't need essential oils to do that. You could just do that on your own. You can just take a deep breath and intend that you are bringing in that energizing, loving feeling about life, okay? You can literally do anything. We'll get to that in a minute. Google brain. Okay, so we've done our deep breaths. I'm going to grab my crystal spheres while we take our deep breaths together, and we're going to do 3 very intentional breaths. You don't need your crystal spheres. You don't need any crystals at all. You don't need anything except for your breath. But wow, it's one of those days today, guys. I just dropped my ball, but it didn't break. It didn't break. I'm so excited. Okay. I'm glad you guys appreciate the realness of my show, because otherwise you'd be like, what is going on with this thing? Okay. So if you do not have any crystals, or you do not want to use them, or you don't care, or it's just like whatever, it's fine. Put your hands on your lap. You can put them facing down. You can put them facing up. You can put them in a mudra, whatever feels resonant to you. That's what you do, because it's me first, right? So it's called me first. So I do it the way I want, and you get to do it the way you want. That's what me first is. Okay. So 3 intentional deep breaths. And as you breathe in, I want you to imagine that you're opening up a portal up here on the top of your head, also known as your crown chakra. And you're going to just allow the beautiful sunlight, that healing, energetic light, to come in through the top of your head, through that portal in the top of your head. At the same time, you're going to put your feet planted on the ground, and you're going to feel that centeredness, that feeling of belonging to the earth. And you are going to bring up all of that beautiful life force energy, that nourishing energy that comes from the earth, the same life force energy that helps the plants bud through the soil, okay? So I want you to bring that life force energy from the ground up. I want you to open up the top of your head and allow that liquid sunshine to pour down in through your head. Allow that beautiful healing energy that is the combination of heaven and earth to permeate every single cell in your body. And while you are imagining this, you'll be holding your breath. Okay, we're going to take a deep breath in. And when we take that deep breath in, we imagine sort of like the pouring in of light, the coming up of that beautiful healing life force energy. And then that light and that energy is just going to do its work. It's going to break apart and dissipate any dense, stagnant, or heavy energy, any stuck and stagnant energy that does not belong in your body. That light is just going to break it apart. And once it's broken apart into little pieces, as you exhale, you're going to imagine that it leaves your body and goes into earth, goes into nature, and Source will take care of it, and we'll use it for whatever beautiful purposes that our energy is used for. It will be recycled in the universe. Okay. So let's do that. We're going to do that 3 times. Good morning, Meredith. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. So deep breath in, imagining all of that light from the heavens and from the earth coming into your body, flowing freely and breaking apart all of that energy that does not belong. Okay, let's do that now. And hold. And release. Beautiful. Okay, let's do that again. Taking a deep breath in once again, opening on the top of your head, allowing that life force energy from the earth to enter through your body and just feeling it go through every single cell. And hold. The sunlight and the healing energy doing its work in your body. And when you exhale, release all of the energy that does not serve you. Beautiful. Okay, one last time. Here we go. Make it a good one. Make sure that you really expand that chest, allowing as much of that healing energy to enter your body and expanding your capacity to receive all the goodness that heaven and earth have to offer you. And then release what doesn't serve you. Here we go. Last time. Hold. And release. Oh, beautiful. Okay, time to stretch. So I like to start with the head. That's all you guys see anyway. So it's like the head and the arms. I just do the top part. You are welcome to do any part of you that feels tense, that feels stiff, stagnant. Also, you want to get that energy moving in all of your body. You want to loosen up any tightness. The shoulders really need it. If you're quiet, you can hear them crackling like a fire. It's like, okay, there we go. Oh, yeah, that feels good. Just stretch your back. As I've said before, if you're doing this on your own, feel free to do an entire gentle yoga routine. This can last up to 20 minutes. It can last an hour. It can last as long as you want. I do things short and quick because that is the capacity that I have right now. And one day when I have a different capacity, like when I went with my bestie to Kripalu and we did yoga several times a day, I was able to sort of give into that and surrender to that beautiful experience. But on a day-to-day basis, all I got is 5 minutes. And so if you only have 5 minutes, this routine is very helpful. It's just about setting the intention and really just doing what you can, okay? Even if you can't do a whole thing, if you do a little bit, it's a little bit that you're doing for you, and even a little bit counts. Even a little bit matters. Whatever you can do, whatever attention you can give to yourself, I promise you that your higher self and your inner child are both going to be so thrilled that you have taken some time to just dedicate to them. Okay, so now that we've done our breathing, and our stretching, we're going to shake it out. Right after we stretch, we shake it out. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Ooh. Oh, that feels so good. I used to do that a lot as a kid and do a lot more shaking. But as my breasts got bigger, got a little bit more self-conscious about shaking. Maybe you guys understand. Anyway, it's still good to shake. It doesn't matter, right? Just gotta shake it out, let all the parts jiggle and move. It feels good. Let your body just kind of feel it. Yes. All right. So now that we've jiggled everything away, let's think about our intentions for the day. So if you already have your GPS word, then you can apply that to your intentions today. Or if you have other intentions, maybe you have a big project, maybe you have something going on and you want to set a different intention, that's fine. Just think about what you would like to feel today, how you would like to embody things today, what kind of person do you want to show up as today, and set that as your intention. And we'll say this little prayer together and ask Source and the angels and all of the spirit guides and beings of light to support each one of us in our intentions for the day. So I'll say the prayer now. Divine Mother, Infinite Father, Creator, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, and all beings of 100% pure white light, allow me to be a clear and open channel of your light and love without hesitation or ego. May the highest vibration of infinite consciousness connect with my higher self and release any and all things that no longer serve me. I ask that Saint Germain and his infinitely powerful violet flame burn away the things that no longer serve myself or humanity and hold us back from our divine existence. Help us to embody the intentions for the day and help us raise the collective vibration for the highest and greatest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it, and so it is. All right, time to pull a card and also sip from my coffee. Coffee? Coffee, anyone? CBC, anyone? Only the Canadians will know this. Only the Canadians or people who are in the entertainment industry that know CBC. Schitt's Creek, hello, hello. All right, that's all I have to say about that. Love me some CBC. Okay, let's see what the Enchanted Map cards from Colette Baron Reed have to say to us today. I've been pulling cards a lot more frequently lately for myself, and it's actually something I find really fun. I really enjoy pulling cards, and it was something I used to do as a kid. And I find that there's always a message there for me, even if I don't understand it right away, because you don't always understand. Like a card comes and you're like, I don't know about this, and then it's like, oh. So one of the things that I started doing is I created a little sort of, I guess it's kind of an altar, but it's like a little shelf. My dad put it up while he was here visiting. Thanks, Dad, for your help. He put up a little shelf where I have my jewelry hanging, all of my necklaces and stuff like that, because it's like long hanging stuff. And there's a little shelf on top. And so I was really intentional about what I put on top of that shelf. So I have like a Merkaba. It's this cute little copper Merkaba, and I have crystals like in like each representing each chakra, because I'm like, okay, it's the bedroom, let's balance our chakras in the bedroom. And I decided to start pulling like 2 cards each day. So one was from the Keepers of the Light deck by Kyle Gray. And I like that deck because it's about the Keepers of the Light. So one card represents like who is with me, who of the Keepers of the Light is watching over me or supporting me on that day. And then the other card is from another Colette Baron Reed deck that I have, which is the Wisdom of the Oracle, which is a beautiful deck as well. I love the artist that she uses, which is, oh my goodness, what's her name? I have it here somewhere. Okay, I'll get back to you on that because I don't want to. What is that? Cover design. Jenny Richards did the cover design of the Enchanted Map. No, that's not the one she uses. It's a different name. Anyway, her designs are great. But the Wisdom of the Oracle, is a little bit more general. So it's kind of like what's going on right now. So I love pulling those 2 cards. So that way I already know who's with me and I know like what am I dealing with. And I encourage you to do the same thing because sometimes it's good to know that it's like the universe. When I pull a card that said, like yesterday, I pulled a card that said like chaos and something. And I was like, oh, good to know the universe knows what's going on in my life right now. And, it's kind of like confirmation that it's like, oh, spirit knows exactly what's happening. But let me tell you something. You need to ask for the help. We think like, why can't you just help me? It's just like in real relationships. Like sometimes, in any intimate relationship, sometimes you'll hear one of the partners be like, they should just know what I need, right? Or, it's like, oh, they I needed them and they didn't know or whatever, right? And it's like we kind of assume that people know what we need or how we want them to show up for us, but not everybody does. Sometimes you have to be obvious. And with spirit, it's not that spirit doesn't know what we need, but we have to ask for it because there's this whole like free will thing. So spirit and the angels, unless our lives are in dire straits, like if we're in the middle of and you've heard these stories where people are like about to die or about to get hit by a car and they're like, and suddenly I felt my car swerve and I don't know who did it, right? And it's like, presumably, and many people believe that it's their angel, that guardian angel that came to save them. So taking those extreme situations situations out of the way on a day-to-day basis. You have to ask for help, right? It's almost like your kids when you're like, they're walking around the house doing their thing and they're like, Mom, why haven't you done this for me? And it's like, I'm sorry, did you ask me to help you with this? Right. And they're like, you're just supposed to do it and have it. You know, I have to do it. And you're like, no, I'm not just supposed to do it. If you want my support, you need to ask for it. So I'm going to extend that same thought to you when it comes to the universe. If you want support from your angels, from God, from any ancestor or, ascended master who you feel particularly connected to, Buddha or Jesus or Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary or whoever you need, ask for them. Call them in and say, I need your help. This is what I would like your support in, and be specific. Look, even if nothing happens, then nothing happens. Nothing changes. You're in the same place you were before. But what if asking for help does bring help, right? What if that does shift things? And I think that that's connected to, the Google brain principle too. And we're going to get into that right after I pull this card because, I want to stay focused on that. All right, pull the card. Look at this card, number 6. Oh, and today's January 6th. That's so apropos. Okay, so January 6th, and the card is Mountain. And when I see this card, and when I see this card today, it kind of feels we're going up a really big mountain, and it feels overwhelming, and it feels super daunting, right? Here we are at the beginning of 2022, on the 6th day of 2022, and it's like, I don't know about you guys, but my 2022 did not start awesome. However, that's neither here nor there. I used to believe when I was a little kid, like how you start the new year is how the rest of your year is going to go. But I slowly stopped investing my thoughts in that limiting belief, because then it's like, well, if you have a shitty couple of days for the year, then that means you're screwed for the rest of 2022. That means you have like 365 days of misery. No, I refuse to believe that. And we do have some control. And here is where we can discuss the Google brain principle. Okay. So just before we go into that, mountain, right? Making mountains out of molehills. When I think of that, right? It's like we look at something, and because we have such a hard time conceiving of how we can solve this problem, how we can get through this challenge, how we can get past whatever is going on, maybe past a limiting belief, or how we can heal trauma or generational wounds that have been in our families for generations and generations. And we're like, who am I to change it? Or how can I change it? Or maybe it's genetic and people in my family are just ... fill in whatever, right? So it feels like this mountain of a challenge, right? Whatever it is that you're facing. And I guarantee if you're watching this, you're facing something. I don't know what it is. And I send you love. And I really send you the support that you need energetically. I wish for you to get the support that you need to get through this. But no matter how bad it looks, no matter how bad it feels, you are not alone, and it's not as bad as you think it is, right? Because even when we're going through struggles, it's really hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And even if you see the light at the end of the tunnel, it's kind of hard not to be afraid of what you have to pass in the tunnel. I talk about this with my friends all the time, right? Like, I'm a spiritual being. I understand that I'm a spiritual being. I understand that everything is working out for me at all times. I believe that to my core. But when you are in the thick of something shitty in your life, it takes a lot for you to remember that. And you also know it still sucks, right? There's still crappy things you have to go through, even if in the end it's for your benefit, right? Even if at the end of this particular journey, or even if down the road you're going to see the benefits of your trauma, if you're going to see the benefits of this challenge, if you're going to see, how much you've grown from this experience, it doesn't take away from the pain of the experience. And that's the thing that we need to remember. You are allowed to feel pain. To feel your pain. You are allowed to feel your sadness. You are allowed to feel your anger. You are allowed to feel, period. Okay? And that's the number one thing that you need to remember. And when you remember that as you're climbing that mountain, you need to remember that you are allowed to stop when it gets tough. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to take a break because it is a mountain. It may not be as big or as bad as you think it is, but it's still there. And the fact that it still feels overwhelming and daunting to you is valid. But what you need to do is just kind of face it and know that you can face it. And that is where the trust comes in. And then you have to know that you can sort of release what you can't control. And that's where the surrender comes in. So you need to trust and surrender on this journey. Whatever mountain you are facing in your life, remember that you are divinely guided and protected. And it's also a really long trip and it is exhausting. And you may get hurt along the way. There will be scrapes and bruises. You may fall, but you're going to get there. Just keep going. If you don't stop, then eventually you're going to get to the top of the mountain and you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe I did that. That's amazing. It's not going to take away the cuts and scrapes and bruises. It's not going to take away any of the emotional um, experience or the spiritual experience, good and bad. It's not going to take anything away, but you will know that you can do it when you get there. So continue with that mindset of, I can do this. I can climb this mountain. I have support. I can also be angry at the mountain for being so big. I can also be angry at the fact that I have to do this and still keep going. You can be angry and still keep going. You can be, sad and you can want to give up and take a break and still start back up again whenever you're ready. So I just want to say that. Okay, the Google Brain Principle. Here we go. I've been running really long these days. So thanks for sticking around. Hi, Sam. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about the Google Brain Principle. So this is something that I talk to my kids about, and in full transparency, I may have heard this at some point along my journey of coaching because I've heard a lot of people coaching, and I heard, so I may have heard something about this, but in my own head, it kind of developed and moved from there. So the Google brain principle is this. Our brain is a search engine, right? And we have access, like the entire world around us, okay? Like literally the outside world, the inside world. It is the fountain of information that exists, right? Everything exists, just like in the internet, right? You go and you search something and anything comes up, right? You can literally search anything. And it wasn't always the case, for those of us who've been around since the internet started and before, we used to have to like type in queries and plus and minus and do all that kind of shit. But Google changed all that for us, right? And now Google, even though I call it the Google brain theory, it's really Google that has become more like our brains. And here's how it works. When you want something, right, you search for it, right? So on Google, let's talk about like Google and the internet. I don't have to explain it to you very much, but I'm just going to give you a little refresher, right? Oh, I'm looking for, blue curtains for my kitchen. So you go into Google and you type blue curtains, right? And all of a sudden you have this barrage of possibilities that you can look at. Blue curtains, curtains for the kitchen, curtains for the basement, curtains for, like nice curtains, cheap curtains, blinds, you get all these options, right? And it's up to you to click on the link to then go to the page that interests you where it may have more information about these blue curtains, right? Now, the page that comes up is like your thoughts, right? So these are like any thoughts that come up. So all of a sudden, like, you have a thought that kind of pops into your head and it's like, maybe it's not a thought that you feel good about. Maybe it's an anxiety that you have. Like, oh my goodness, what if it rains today? And, I don't have rain boots. Okay, that's kind of silly. It's not silly, but whatever. It's just a small example, right? And so all of a sudden you're like, rain, right? Like, will it rain today? And you're like, God, is it going to rain today? And your brain starts to like, find all okay, where can I find the boots? Where's the raincoat? What are my options? You start thinking about all the possibilities, right? And it all comes up. And then of course, like, especially these days, like Facebook shows you a weather app and, your phone, you go onto your phone and everything is kind of there for you. And with your brain, I need you to understand that what you say and what you think, it's there for you, right? It shows up for you. But it if you don't click on it, then it's just a thought, right? So when we talk about like meditation, for example, and like thoughts kind of enter in and out of your mind, and people say, like, you can't stop thinking, right? But you can just allow thoughts to kind of like float in and out of your mind. Well, in that case, it works like Google, where it's like you have a thought, right? And so the thought is danger. Okay, let's like, oh, danger is the first. Oh my God, something's freaking me out. I feel danger, right? And so your brain starts running through all the dangerous scenarios, right? It's like, danger. Am I feeling that because the house is going to be robbed, or are my children not safe, or am I not safe, or what's going on? And you can have these thoughts, but if you don't click on the links, right? Like if you don't allow yourself to go down the rabbit hole, right? That Google rabbit hole, or even better, the YouTube rabbit hole, right? Where it's like, but they both are rabbit holes where once you click, then it takes you to that article that explains whatever. It's like, oh, danger, right? Danger is all over. Danger is everywhere. So here's an article confirming the danger. And so all of a sudden you have confirmation. Oh my God, I do need to worry about danger. Look at all these things about danger. And if you start clicking on each and every one, then the algorithm is such that all of a sudden all these things that refer to danger are going to show up on Google for you, because that's what you've been looking for. Like other searches like this. No, people who search this also search this, right? Especially on YouTube. You start going down that hole and it's like, oh, murder in, tri-state, 75 people killed in a massacre. And you're like, what? That's terrible. And so here you are feeding into that rabbit hole of negative thought. Okay, I don't believe in negative, positive, because they're thoughts. But what happens is that then you start to feed into that vibration, the vibration of fear, because as you click on each thing, so when you're on Google, as you click on each link, you are telling Google, hey, I want more on this. So you go into that link on danger and then you read up more. And then all of a sudden 75 more articles show up about the dangers of whatever. And you go, oh my God, the dangers of grocery shopping, the dangers of like swimming, the dangers of going to the beach, the dangers of going to the mountains, and suddenly, and the more you click and the more you invest, the more you read, it's like a downward spiral. And I say downward because it's like a heavy energy. So you start calibrating to this energy of fear with every click, with every time you read an additional article, with every time you watch another movie or another video. You are entering deeper and deeper into the frequency of fear, right? So that makes sense when you think about it in Google. But the same thing happens with your brain, right? You don't actually need to click on a link in your brain. In your brain, clicking on a link is the equivalent of allowing the story to unfold, right? So it's like, oh, what if my child is not safe at school? And that's a legitimate fear. We live in a fucking weird shit time where we have to be concerned for our children's safety in school, okay? And that is terrifying for my children and for me. And I could easily go down the rabbit hole of why it is completely unsafe for me to send my children to school. So many reasons. So many reasons these days, okay? But I don't allow myself to get into that spiral. I'll have that thought, right? And then it's like, but that thought's not really serving me, because there's so many benefits to school. I love sending my kids to school. They make friends, they learn new things. I'm not going to teach them because I'm not a homeschooling teacher, and nor do I want to be a part of that, although I think it's an amazing thing and I have thought about it. But what I'm saying is that I see the benefits of my children going to school. So I'm not going to feed into the fear of them going to school by clicking on those links in my head, where I start to allow those thoughts to unfold and go further and further and deeper into that fear mindset. I may have the thought and be like, oh my God, it's such a crazy time. School's not safe for my kids. But then the other part of me is going to be like, you know what? I don't want to go down that road. I don't have time to go down that road. That is not a thought that serves me. It is not a thought that serves my children. And the truth is that they're actually quite safe in comparison, if you're really thinking about dangerous things. And like I said, you can find evidence to prove whatever thought you have, whatever fear you have, whatever limiting belief you have. You can find a dissertation, video, educated people proving that you are correct. Because if you've had that thought, other people have had that thought. And if other people have had that thought, there's even other people who have shown that that thought is correct, because that's how it works. We all want to kind of know that we're right. And then we start going in and feeding into those thoughts and beliefs. But if you don't feed into it, just like with Google, if you don't type it into the search bar, or if you do type it into the search bar, which it can happen, that's like a thought that pops in, like I'm scared of going to the store for whatever reason, right? You can feed into the fear by continuing that thought, or you can say, you know what? I really need to go to the store today, and it's super important for me to go. So instead of focusing on not wanting to go to the store, I'm going to type in, great things that happen in stores, right? So, for Google, that makes sense using that as an example. But when you're using it on your own brain, then you have to search your own memories and be like, let me think of the times that I went to the store and I had good experiences. Let me think of the times, if your fear is sending your kids to school, let me think of the times I've sent my kids to school and things went really well and they benefited from it. What good can come of this? Whatever that thing is that you're nervous about, or that you're afraid of, or that you're anxious about, when you are connecting with your brain or connecting with the Google brain, search and type into your search engine, by your thoughts, search for the things that you want evidence of, right? Show me good times at school. Show me successful entrepreneurs over the age of 40. Show me, women who have broken their, generational curses, right? Show me a population of people that understand each other and get along and have a beautiful community. Show me evidence of the life I want to live. And that's what you have to search for. And the more you search for that, your human algorithm is designed that the more you search for something, the more you think about something, the more evidence you will find, right? And so then your brain starts going, oh, wait, they want to find like good vacation spots. And suddenly you're like, somebody starts talking about the Maldives, somebody starts talking about Bali. All of a sudden you start to get ads for Hawaii. And you're like, oh my God, I said the other day that I would love to take a vacation. And all around me, all I see is Hawaii and Bali and this and Colombia and this, all these, beautiful countries that you want to go to. And they just start showing up for you, because that's how the algorithm works. The human algorithm is designed for you to have everything you want at your fingertips, for things to come to you and to show up for you when you ask for it. So what are you asking for? What are you putting in your Google search engine? In this Google brain of yours, what are you putting in there? And if you don't like what's coming up for you, right? Like look all around you. If you don't like what's coming up for you, how can you change what you're searching for? How can you shift your language? I mean, think about it in Google. I do this all the time where sometimes I'm like, I want a tapestry. So, like, I just recently looked for some tapestries. This is a lovely tapestry, and I'm looking for another one, right? So I'll go tapestry, and it'll show me like a bunch of, like, a million different things. So then I'll say, okay, instead of looking up tapestry, I want to look up, like tapestries for healing room. So then it's a little bit more specific. So you start changing your language. Same thing in real life, right? If you start going, I'm looking for happiness, and you can start there. I want bliss. I want happiness. Show me happiness. And all of a sudden you start to see a cute little couple walking, holding hands. You might start, you might see like a successful entrepreneur celebrating their business, right? And here's the evidence of the happiness all around you. And then it's up to you to understand that it doesn't exist to show you how far you are from it. It exists to show you how close you are to it, right? That's what it shows you. Oh, the algorithm is like, oh, you want to see happy? Here you go. Look at all this happiness around you. And then it's up to you to say, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. I want to bring in that happiness. I want to, invest in that type of happiness. Let me look further into this. And it may be an entrepreneur who made a decision about her business, and you're like, oh, I like what she did. Let me follow that, right? So follow, and click on the links that show up in your head. Evolve the thoughts that feel good, evolve the thoughts that connect with who you want to be or who you are right now that feels in alignment with your higher self. You have this powerful, powerful tool at your fingertips, right? Kind of at your fingertips, like this. Well, I guess if you do this, it's at your fingertips, okay? You have a powerful tool that you can use. Start thinking about what you are putting into that Google brain of yours. What are you searching for? And what are you expecting to show up for you? And just like Google, if you don't like what you see, just delete and start searching for something new in a whole new way. And you will see that your life will slowly begin to shift. Okay. That's it for today. I went 10 minutes over. I really appreciate your patience, your love, and your appreciation. Don't forget to please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to Jumpstart for Change on YouTube. Subscribe, ding the bell for notifications, and I will be back tomorrow. And tomorrow's Fun Friday, so I will be pulling some cards. If you would like me to pull cards for you, show up and I will do that. Have a great day. Bye.